Energy. Check under the cap. What you see is what you win. Rock Boom. Energy for winners.
NBS. Always.
NBS Live at 9.
8 billion shillings worth of expired drugs from the national medical stores. What does that mean for the ordinary Ugandan? That story and more in Live at 9 tonight. But first, the headlines. In the news tonight, public investments yield little as Auditor General highlights persistent failures at UDC and Uganda Investment Authority.
Bigger proportion of the expiries that we have at NMS.
Calls for probe intensify after 8 billion shillings worth of essential medicines expire at the national medical stores.
If there are requests which were never respected, which are now interrogated within the national medical stores.
2026 Imbalu circumcision season officially opens at Bamtoto as cultural rituals take center stage and renew calls for site development. And the good news is
the minimum is supposed to be actually 3,000 people.
Solar-powered irrigation gives Karamoja communities year-round harvest as drought and hunger persist.
And then we spread taps across the village.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Sheila Dusime.
Welcome to Live at 9 tonight. My name is Sheila Tsime. Let's get into the stories. Different stakeholders have called for a probe into the destruction of essential medicines and medical supplies worth 8 billion shillings by the national medical stores after Parliament had the stock expired before it could be distributed. The supplies, mainly antiretroviral drugs and laboratory items, were disposed of despite persistent drug shortages in public health facilities. NMS attributed the expiry of these drugs in facility orders, limited staff to handle drug packages, and logistical challenges that disrupted distribution.
The appearance of national medical stores officials before Parliament's Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises (COSASE) on Thursday sparked concern after the 2024-2025 Auditor General's report revealed that medicines worth 8 billion shillings expired and were destroyed before being distributed. The report indicates that destroyed stock included essential medicines, raising fresh questions about drug management at a time when many public health facilities continue to face persistent shortages.
The bigger proportion of the expiries that we have at NMS is as a result of the medicines that we receive on behalf of the Ministry of Health. The bigger proportion of the expiries that we have at NMS is as a result of the medicines that we receive on behalf of the Ministry of Health.
In response, NMS officials blamed transport constraints that affected nationwide distribution. Committee members were particularly concerned that NMS spent an additional shilling 3 billion to destroy the expired medicines, arguing that the money could instead have been used to transport and distribute the drugs to facilities where they were needed.
When it comes to requisitions, we wanted to identify the requisition cycle so that we ascertain whether actually these medical facilities, the hospitals, never and district health officers never actually sent in a request for drugs. So leading to expiry of drugs in stores. If there are requests which were never respected, which are now interrogated within the national medical stores, who was then responsible for the failure and the delay?
We did not have the staff to move, to pack these medicines, pick them, because we had not been given the wage bill.
Medical Dr. Lumebaiga said while medicines can expire because of operational and logistical challenges, the destruction of such a large quantity of essential drugs remains unacceptable.
Maybe Parliament also needs now to scrutinize all the medicines that are brought before members so that we can know the disease burden versus what is being prescribed.
Dr. Waiga also called for an independent probe into shillings 3 billion spent on destroying the medicines, questioning whether the cost reflected the actual disposal process.
How much money is needed to destroy a ton of medicine? how much money is needed to destroy 2 tons of medicines and the types of medicines to be destroyed, where they destroy it from. Those things need to be investigated.
As concerns over recurring drug shortages persist, the National Medical Stores maintains that it distributes medicine strictly according to requisitions submitted by health facilities.
Now, the 2024-2025 Auditor General's report has raised fresh concerns over drug management at the National Medical Stores, revealing that essential medicines worth billions of shillings expired before reaching the health facilities. The report also highlights significant under-delivery of medicines and billions more spent disposing of expired stock. Let's take a look at this report and the details of this report now. The details are from the expired medicines at the National Medical Stores. That is for the year 2024-2025. The total value of expired essential medicines is 8.040 billion, and Government of Uganda funded stock is 532 billion. Now, the donor funded stock stands at 7,507 billion Ugandan shillings, and the cost of destroying expired medicines stands at 3.685 billion shillings. Now, moving on to the next bit of information, the planned deliveries were worth 782.90 billion Ugandan shillings, and the medicines delivered worth 586 billion. The value of undelivered medicines stands at 104,371 billion shillings. And of course, all this is from the Auditor General's report for the year 2024-2025. Now, public investments are designed to serve as the engine of economic transformation, expanding national revenue bases, driving industrialization, and creating employment. However, when state-backed capital consistently fails to yield measurable returns, it signals a severe structural breakdowns in planning, appraisal, and institutional execution. The 2025 Auditor General's report presents a stark evaluation of Uganda's primary development bodies, detailing how funding earmarked for growth under the Uganda Development Corporation and Uganda Investment Authority is instead yielding near zero financial returns and severe operational delays.
Uganda Development Corporation is the investment institution mandated to facilitate the industrial and economic development of Uganda. However, an evaluation by the Auditor General of Uganda of a 10-year period indicates that the corporation invested 1.3 trillion shillings across 22 enterprises. But during the current audit period 2025, the massive financial commitment generated reveals only 1.4 billion shillings in total investment income, representing a negligible 0.09% return on investment. According to the report, 8 out of the 10 sampled active enterprises suffered net losses for at least 2 consecutive years, while one enterprise remains entirely non-operational 4 years later after government injecting 3.1 billion shilling. The report states 8 entities that borrowed 23 billion shillings directly from UDC defaulted completely, failing to pay back either principal or interest. The Auditor General highlights that this poor performance stems from a compromised investment model. Although UDC is legally mandated to operate indirectly, its capital is frequently tied to pre-earmarked project-specific central government directives. This practice, according to the Auditor General's report, deprives UDC leadership of the operational autonomy needed to perform rigorous independent investment appraisals before capital is committed to high-risk ventures. Consequently, public funds end up tied down in unviable enterprises that are unable to generate returns or pay back public loans. A parallel examination of the Uganda Investment Authority reveals similar structural bottlenecks, particularly concerning industrial park development. Out of 4,178 acres set aside across government-owned parks, 49% of the allocated companies are fully operational. The remaining 51% remain stalled in construction or pre-start phases, largely due to lack of baseline infrastructure such as high-voltage power lines, solid waste management systems, adequate roads, and proper drainage. The Auditor General's report exposes significant administrative and implementation lags within Uganda Investment Authority. A decade after 2016 presidential directive instructed the authority to establish 25 regional industrial parks. According to the Auditor General, Uganda Investment Authority has failed to fully establish a single new park under that mandate despite mobilizing nearly 57,000 acres of land. The report states Uganda Investment Authority lacks land titles for over 26,000 acres across 21 districts, creating major legal vulnerabilities and leaving public assets open to encroachment. The Kampala Industrial and Business Park at Namamve, backed by €215 million facility, the auditors say stood at just 59% fiscal completion by mid-2025, with full completion pushed back to March 2028. The findings from the Auditor General present a clear consensus, including allocating public capital without institutional autonomy, rigorous risk assessment, and basic supporting infrastructure leads to tied-up assets and lost economic momentum.
Thank you very much, Shamim. Let's get into the details of this report. We'll be looking at some of the highlights of the Auditor General's report and what it states. We start with the industrial parks breakdown. The total public industrial park allocation was 4,178 acres allocated to 628 companies. Okay, we move on to the next one. Now, the fully operational parks are 49%, 307 companies. That is where we stand for the fully operational parks. Under construction, the industrial parks that are under construction stand at 31%, that is 195 companies. When we look at the pre-start phase, those that are in the pre-start phase, they stand at 19%, that is 122 companies. Moving on to the next one, UIA lacks land titles for 26,000 acres across 21 districts. Still breaking down the industrial parks based on the Auditor General's report. 10 years after a 2016 presidential directive to set up 25 regional industrial parks, UIA has failed to establish a single new park under that directive, despite acquiring nearly 57,000 acres. Now, critical infrastructure such as solid waste management, high voltage power, roads and drainage is missing in many of these parks. Okay. This is from the Auditor General's report. The high-profile Kampala Industrial and Business Park at Namamve, funded at over €215 million, stood at just 59% physical progress by mid-2025, with completion pushed back to March 2028. We're still breaking down this report. From the Auditor General's report, we want to take you to our opinion question for today, which is still about the same, and we'll be reading the feedback later. The question is, share your views on how best government can realize its industrialization agenda. The hashtag is NBS Live at 9. We'll be listening in to your feedback later on. Now, in more stories, police has received bodies of 6 family members, including the father, his wife, and 4 children that were struck to death by lightning in the early morning hours of today. The lightning struck the grass-thatched houses where the deceased family were staying in Nyanza Cell, Oleba Town Council in Maracha District between 3 to 5 a.m. when it was raining.
At around 6 a.m., I received a call from my LC2 chairperson, Central Ward, explaining to me that an incident of thunder striking happened in her residence. According to her, a man called Andama Geoffrey, he is 37 years old, and his wife, Enyaro Harriet, plus the 4 children. They lost their lives in the incident of thunder strike. It was on spot death incidents. And I immediately called the OC, Olaba Police Station, to reach on the ground to assist the station on the ground. I immediately followed. Right now, we're together, working together. Normally, the viral arrangements are ongoing. I pray that let the Holy Spirit come and hit our people here so that they do understand that death is real.
We're now listening from our West Nile Bureau Chief, Joseph Omagol, to update us on the situation as of now.
Yes, very, very unfortunate incident in Maracha district. And of course, the police has been on ground and they confirmed that they have retrieved the bodies, the 6 bodies of the family members, the father, the mother, and the 4 children. And the local authorities also report that this could have happened between 3 to 5 a.m. when it was raining earlier today. And this is not just something that's new in West Nile. This is a region that is prone to lightning strikes. Over time in 2020, if you look back, we had cases that were reported in Nebi district, and this actually took the lives of 10 learners. And this also was followed by another incident of a mother and a child in Arua district, and then also we had another incident that happened in Yumbe, where 3 learners were killed by lightning, and then as well as a woman in Zombo district. And these are just the reported cases. Some cases have not been reported, and the local authorities have been calling for help because West Nile, as I said earlier on, is a lightning prone area. And this happens majorly from the month of March and April, when the first season rains happen, and as well as July and August and September, when the rains for the second season have actually returned. This is something that is of a concern, especially to learners who are going to school, those who are in classes that do not have lightning arresters. Across West Nile, it is an urgent call for families, those that can actually install lightning arresters, to make sure that they install this, and as well as schools, because it affects learners majorly across the region. But also it is a wake-up call to the government of Uganda to ensure that something is done. Maybe stakeholders can come on ground and ensure that the locals are educated, because sometimes this is attributed to witchcraft, which the police today have said this should not be the case because it is not true. It is a natural phenomena.
The 2026 Imbalu circumcision season has officially been launched at the historic Bumutoto Cultural Grounds in Mbale City, attracting thousands of people from across Bugisu and beyond. The ceremony brought together cultural leaders, government officials, and a delegation of Bugisu from neighboring Kenya. The event was briefly disrupted when the official program clashed with the official time for the cultural procession.
Bumtoto Culture Grounds has once again become the center of attention as Bugisu officially opens another Imbalu season. Thousands of people gathered at the historic culture site, some traveling from across Uganda and neighboring Kenya, to witness the ceremony that marks the beginning of months of circumcision rituals across Bugisu. The colorful ceremony brought together culture leaders, politicians, government officials, traditional performers, and culture enthusiasts. Among the guests was a delegation from Kenya led by Kenya's High Commissioner to Uganda, Ababu Namwamba, representing Kenyan President William Samoei Ruto. The delegation underscored the cross-border cultural ties between the Bugisu in Uganda and communities in neighboring Kenya.
I thank you, great people. And I wish all our young people a great rite of passage today at this International Imbalu Festival. Asanteni sana.
Uganda was represented by the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oboth, who attended on behalf of President Yoweri Museveni and the government of Uganda. But as the Speaker ascended the podium to deliver the President his message, the timing collided with one of the
Access unsecured loans of up to 500 million Uganda shillings plus 6 months of free banking. Ku NCBA Bank, Chigwa Kuwerere. Visit any NCBA Bank branch today and unlock the momentum your business deserves.
NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Later on, we'll be looking at the government of northern Uganda and how far it has gone with the irrigation project. That story will be coming up after the break. Right now, Live at 9 takes a short break and we'll be back with more stories.
Can I have a light, please? What is this?
Castle Light, the best testing light.
Try it.
Try it, try it, try it. Da, 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 da.
Guys, look at this post.
Nothing hits like extra cold. Castle Light. Try it.
MTN voice bundle. Ay. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Hello, Mr. Mkasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
That is right. How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
No. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Matte. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes humidity.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
Uganda is moving forward. And at the heart of that movement is the most extensive fiber network in East Africa, with more than 15,000 kilometers of fiber and over 5,000 telecom mast sites. Soliton Telmec is the backbone that enables Uganda's telecom and digital infrastructure, connecting government services, businesses, homes, universities, hospitals, banks, villages, and telecom masts. We don't just build networks. We maintain and commercialize critical infrastructure that supports national development. East Africa's leading fiber company, connecting Uganda with the most capacity. Soliton Telmec, building networks for life.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Water and Environment has intensified engagements with district leaders and communities across northern Uganda ahead of the rollout of several major water projects aimed at boosting commercial agriculture and improving sanitation. Among the planned investments, the 446 billion Unyama irrigation scheme expected to transform over 1,700 acres of farmland in Gulu and Amuru districts. But while local leaders have welcomed the project, concerns over sanitation, infrastructure and outdated water coverage data continue to dominate discussions.
Northern Uganda continues to experience prolonged dry spells brought about by climate change, leaving thousands of farmers dependent on unreliable rainfall. To address the challenge, the government is preparing to implement one of the region's largest irrigation investments. The shillings 446 billion Unyama irrigation scheme will cover 1,750 acres across Patiko sub-county in Gulu district and Opara and Pabo sub-counties in Amuru district, which will provide reliable water for a year-round crop production while improving household incomes.
We have so many people who have taken up perennial crops, especially coffee and to some extent cocoa, and these need water.
The Ministry of Water says the new approach prioritizes consultation and shared responsibility with beneficiaries to avoid delays in past projects. The Unyama irrigation scheme, originally slated for 2017, stalled due to compensation disputes involving over 100 project-affected persons and fears of land grabbing.
There was no coordination at the beginning. These people never coordinated clearly with them. We have taken note of.
District leaders say irrigation will help counter falling agricultural productivity from unpredictable weather and have pledged transparent compensation while promoting commercial farming. However, they note that water is not the only problem, with Amuru RDC Geoffrey Osborne Ochieng warning that poor fecal sludge management and lack of treatment facilities is becoming a public health concern.
So we need Ministry of Water and Environment to help us construct a lagoon which will use it as a treatment plan.
Meanwhile, Paida district is demanding that the government reviews the data used to allocate water sector funding. The Paida district water officer, Patrick Olanya, says that current records are outdated and fail to reflect the district's actual water needs.
So when you go to access to save water, you find like per day 95%. But when you go to other indicators like equity, how equally they are distributed, per day is 31%. Because some of these facilities in the IDP camp, they are still in the database of Ministry of Water and Environment, and they still contribute to our water coverage. When some of these facilities are already abandoned.
Now, more of Uganda's fragile ecosystems could disappear without a resistance after a new study revealed that environmental human rights defenders are increasingly facing arrest, intimidation and threats while carrying out their work. The study by the Green Advocacy Report accuses powerful corporate actors, influential individuals and some security agencies of using existing laws, including the Public Order Management Act, to silence environmental activists, allowing environmental degradation to continue unchecked. NBS's Richard Olwain reports.
For years, environmental activists have been at the front line of protecting Uganda's forests, wetlands and communities from destructive activities such as deforestation, mining and oil developments. Through petitions, peaceful demonstrations and public campaigns, they believe activism was their strongest tool in defending nature. But many now say that the very tool has been turned against them. Authorities have increasingly relied on existing laws, including the Public Order Management Act, to disperse protests and arrest campaigners, even when they argue they are acting in public interest. For Ibrahim Impima, a fresh graduate from Chambogo University, environmental activism is personal. He says his grandmother was allegedly displaced from her land in the Albertine region.
Because of East African crude oil pipeline, where she was forced to come to Kampala after some time, forcefully evicted. After two weeks, she died.
Inspired by her experience, he joined fellow activists in a peaceful march to Parliament.
When we were arrested at that time, we were taken to CPS, where we spent a night.
His experience mirrors that of Akelo Peace Merisha, who says repeated intimidation and fear for her safety forced her to abandon environmental activism.
They have the military in place, not just on the streets for young people, but as well in the communities where these people dwell.
Only green activism.
A study by Resource Rights Africa found that intimidation, arbitrary arrest, and harassment have discouraged many environmental defenders from continuing their work.
Continue to face intimidation, harassment, reputational risks, but there are also issues to do with funding gaps that they don't undertake their work because they lack the necessary resources.
The report calls for stronger legal protection, including an Environmental Human Rights Defenders Bill and amendments to the existing laws. Government says it's ready to engage stakeholders to address the concerns.
I'd like to harmonize the different players in regard to the protection of the rights of the indigenous people are concerned.
Police have recovered more than 700 suspected stolen electronic devices, including mobile phones, tablets and laptops, during an intelligence-led operation at Cooper Complex in Kampala. Authorities are now calling on anyone who has lost their device to visit the Kampala Central Police Station with proof of ownership as investigations into the suspected trafficking network continue.
We call upon anyone who has lost a mobile phone or any other electronic device to visit Kampala Central Police Station with proof of ownership to verify whether their property has been recovered. In addition, Katwe Police Station has several recovered iPhones awaiting identification and collection by their rightful owners. The Uganda Police Force remains committed to combating theft, dismantling criminal networks involved in trafficking, stolen property, and also ensuring recovered items are returned to their legitimate owners. So we call upon whoever is watching us, in case you lost a phone, come to CPS Kampala. We also have iPhones at Katwe Police Station. Please come with proof of ownership.
The stories: illegal logging and land encroachment continue to threaten Uganda's central forest reserves despite ongoing conservation efforts. In Chenjojo district, the conservation actors and local communities have launched a joint monitoring exercise in Muhanji Central Forest Reserve to assess the effectiveness of collaborative forest management and strengthen efforts to protect one of the country's critical wildlife corridors. This follows an increase in cases of illegal logging that are threatening the Central Reserve existence.
Muhanji Central Forest Reserve, which is part of the Chibare-Itwara-Matiri Elephant Corridor, remains an important ecological habitat, supporting biodiversity and wildlife movement in western Uganda. However, the reserve is facing increasing pressure from illegal loggers, charcoal burning and land encroachment, activities that continue to degrade the forest and threaten conservation gains. To address the challenges, the joint effort to save the environment, forests of the world, and the Mparo Parish Tweimuche Collaborative Forest Management Group carried out a joint monitoring visit to the reserve. The exercise is part of an ongoing project aimed at engaging farmers and communities living near protected forests in restoring the Chibare-Itwara-Matiri Elephant Corridor while promoting sustainable livelihoods.
It is rather to seek a common understanding, to seek a common ground, a common set of solutions to what is happening in Muhangi. The rate of degradation is happening in Muhangi. Actually, if not checked, we may not have Muhangi in the next 10 years.
The monitoring team reviewed collaborative forest management, inspected areas damaged by illegal activities, and met with locals to discuss improving forest patrols. Conservationists say community participation remains critical because local residents are often the first to detect illegal activities within the protected areas.
As members of CFM,
monitoring the Muhanji Forest Reserve. If you find someone in the forest burning charcoal and killing, arrest him and take him to the police.
Stakeholders believe that stronger collaboration between communities and government agencies will be key to safeguarding Muhanji's Central Forest Reserve from continued degradation.
As NFA, we have done a lot of efforts to see that we protect these forests that are under our sector that we are in charge of, and Muhanji is one of them. Through doing forest patrols, do sensitization meetings to the communities around to see that we work in hand with them so that we protect these forests.
With pressure on Uganda's forests increasing, conservationists say saving reserves like Muhanji will take law enforcement plus community involvement.
We get into the social space and see what is happening online. We start with Honorable Byamukama Fred. Today I inspected the ongoing construction works on the Masaka-Chotera-Mutukula Road, a strategic regional corridor that connects Uganda to the United Republic of Tanzania and serves as a vital route for trade, tourism and cross-border movement. I'm concerned that with only 2 years remaining on the contract, just about 30% of the works have been completed. This pace is not satisfactory for a project of such national and regional importance. I directed the contractor to intensify dust suppression by regularly watering the entire corridor to prevent accidents which have become a common occurrence due to the dust and lack of speed humps. The contractor has 90 days to commence tarmacking of the road. That is from Honorable Byamukama Fred, the Minister for Works and Transport. Live at 9 takes another break and we'll be back with more stories including business and sports.
The parent is Tuliahewa Dixon. And the child is Tuliahewa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ngo isha watu yahewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero bagonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta munana 0 hash kushashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo muchisheri zagwije wanje ninga nchaka ngwasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
You wanna make tasty food and say you wanna do that doesn't still Candaling one no ya night Sika de buto one night Nailo akro ya Sika de buto one night Candaling one no ya night.
Cook better, sell better with Nile Healthy Cholesterol Free Cooking Oil and non-sticky wheat flour. Nile, yenyabo.
Spice up your breakfast with Prestige margarine, easy to spread and fortified with vitamins A, D and E in the original and vanilla flavor, turning everyday moments into quiet indulgence. And now a delightful new experience unfolds. Introducing Prestige Fruity, a luscious fusion of creamy spread and strawberry flavor, bringing everything you love into one simple, delicious layer. No extra spreads, just pure fruity satisfaction in every bite. Prestige margarine, sprayed it, taste it, love it. Available in all shops and supermarkets nationwide. Distributed by Chapa General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikuwo, Kampala.
Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here, nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort. moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
Your dog gives you their whole heart, so protect theirs with Sweco Dog Insurance, because every slobbery kiss and happy tail wag deserves a lifetime of care. From accidents to illnesses, we're here to help. Statewide Insurance Company, protecting your family one paw at a time. For more details, visit www.sweco.co.ug. Statewide Insurance Company is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Now, as drought continues to fuel food insecurity across Karamoja, one community in Nakapiripirit district is defying the crisis through irrigation. A solar-powered water system is enabling families to grow crops throughout the year, offering a possible solution to the region's recurring hunger.
While many parts of Karamoja sub-region grapple with prolonged drought and food shortages, the story is different in Kawach sub-county in Nakapiripirit district. Here, green vegetable gardens stand in sharp contrast to the surrounding dry landscape. The transformation has been made possible by a solar-powered water system constructed by Innovation Africa.
We identify a village that needs our support. The minimum is supposed to be actually 3,000 people, and then we spread taps across the village.
In Karamoja, prolonged drought has repeatedly triggered hunger, with many families losing crops and livestock, and in severe cases, lives.
This situation is really so difficult for especially the most vulnerable people. Could be the children and the elderly. Like recently we registered cases of 3 deaths within this locality.
The dry conditions have also left many communities without safe drinking water, forcing residents to trek long distances in search for water from unsafe open sources. Today, a solar-powered system is providing a reliable supply of clean water throughout the year.
Actually, since they brought this water, it has helped us, like in cooking, actually in domestic use. It has also helped us for growing crops.
The innovation has already reached several villages in Nabilatuk district and Nakapiripirit district, where recurrent drought had left many families vulnerable to hunger. District leaders believe expanding similar projects across Karamoja could significantly reduce food insecurity and prevent hunger-related deaths.
Well, if they can scale up to other districts, that is equally important, because what affects another district, the effect is actually felt here.
The State Minister for Minerals at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Fiona Nyamtoro, has called on the government and Parliament to strengthen sexual and reproductive health support in schools by reviewing existing policies and considering dedicated sexual and reproductive health focal persons in learning institutions. And Nyamtoro also urged a comprehensive review of the national health and adolescent health policies to better respond to the growing needs of young people. She said many students continue to grapple with mental health challenges, teenage pregnancies, and other reproductive health concerns because they lack trusted people to confide in. She made the remarks during the graduation of more than 100 peer educators trained by Richer Hand Uganda.
I would like to charge you, the young people, to become the voices of reviewing these policies. We need a review on the national health policy. We need a review on the national adolescent policy. We need a review on the national sexual reproductive health and rights policy. For me, I think if we are able to achieve this in the next 1 year, we would have strengthened the foundation that we are building on.
To empower young people to be more employability, to utilize the opportunities that have been provided by the government, for example, the conducive environment, on how they can start up their own businesses so that they can be able to take care of their families. They can also be able to stay in school. So they play a very significant role to do that.
Okay, so I encourage all parents that you should bring your children in such things that they empower them to be better people, but also help them grow as better citizens in making decisions, because there are decisions that people do make, or children, not because they want them.
If you are out there and you're going through your mental health problems, it's okay to seek counseling, it's okay to talk to a friend, it's okay to talk to your mother, your teacher, like if you're in school, and like if you fear to talk to anyone, you can go online, you understand?
Now, former Bundibujo District Health Officer Dr. William Chewunda, who led Uganda's response to the deadly 2007 Ebola outbreak, has been laid to rest. In a message read on his behalf, President Yoweri Museveni praised him. President Yoweri Museveni praised him as a selfless patriot. However, his family used the barrier to question the quality of emergency health care in public hospitals.
When a deadly Ebola outbreak struck Bundibujo district in 2007, claiming dozens of lives and devastating communities, Dr. William Chewunda remained at the forefront of the response. As Bundibujo District Health Officer, he coordinated efforts with the Ministry of Health, the World Health Organization, and other health partners to contain the virus. Years later, as he was laid to rest, President Yoweri Museveni, in a message read on his behalf, described Dr. Chewunda as a distinguished medical practitioner whose legacy of service and sacrifice will continue to inspire generations.
Today, we are not only mourning his death, but also celebrating his life and legacy. He departed from us after rendering distinguished service to Ugandans. Therefore, the young people should endeavor to learn from such a leader and an elder while they are still alive, and also emulate their good conduct.
District leaders also credited the late doctor with transforming Bundibujo's health sector long after the Ebola outbreak by introducing incentives that attracted medical workers to a district that had long struggled to recruit and retain health professionals.
And Honorable William Muguruka Chewunda possesses a wealth experience and vast experience in skills which he passed off over to the other students in medical schools in Nairobi and in Uganda.
Beyond medicine, Dr. Chewunda served as a member of parliament for Bundibujo from 1980 to 1985, where he championed improved healthcare and social service delivery. However, even as leaders celebrated his legacy, his family used the barrier to call for reforms in Uganda's healthcare system, expressing concern over delays in accessing emergency medical care.
This is not proper. As a country, we must stand for ourselves. We must be in position to defend our professions, even when circumstances do not warrant. I know you want to wait for money, but money may never come. But we must provide the service as professionals. This is what we are born to do, we are taught to do as professionals.
Color your world.
Refresher.
The same great cube that makes your beans tasty, now in a new pack. Get the Royco Cube Co-String at a Duka or supermarket near you. Just pull, tear and crumble for the tastiest beans.
This is not just a run. This is a movement with purpose. Join us on 30th August 2026 at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds for the Cancer Run 2026. Starting at 6 a.m. Also taking place simultaneously in other districts across Uganda for the completion of the One-Stop Cancer Center at Nsambia Hospitals. Registration is only 30,000 Ugandan shillings online using Gonza Pay. Gates are available at all Centenary Bank branches, Capital Shoppers outlets, Bread House branches, the Cancer Run office on Zimwa Road, Muyenga, the Rotary Uganda office at Nick Building, and Rotary clubs across the country. The Rotary Cancer Run 2026 is organized in partnership with the Parliament of Uganda, Centenary Bank, Crystal Water, and Next Media Group.
The parent is Tuliahemwa Dixon, and the child is Ani Tuliahemwa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ngo ishe watu yayewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero magonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta manana 0 hash kushashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo mchisheri zagwije wanje ninga nchaka ngwasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bulago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
In business tonight, despite the rapid growth in mobile money and digital Services, smartphone ownership remains out of reach for millions of Ugandans. While the country has more than 34 million internet subscriptions and over 45 million mobile phone connections, smartphone penetration is estimated at only about 35 to 40%, largely due to the high upfront cost of devices. It is this company Watu says it is helping to close after reaching 1 million smartphones financed under its Watu Simu platform.
For many Ugandans, owning a smartphone is no longer a luxury. It has become a gateway to mobile banking, digital commerce, online education, and access to government services. However, the cost of a quality smartphone often remains beyond the reach of many low-income earners, forcing millions to rely on basic feature phones. It is against this backdrop that Watu Uganda says it has financed its 1 millionth smartphone just 3 years after launching Watu Simu in July 2023.
Congratulations, Watu Uganda!
The milestone comes less than a year after the company crossed the 500,000 mark, making it one of the fastest growing device financing platforms in the country.
Customers make down payments and repay the remaining balance in affordable installments that fits the way they earn and live. And the response was amazing. In 2025, we celebrated our first 500,000 smartphones. In less than a year after, we've doubled that figure to 1 million smartphones financed.
According to the company, more than 250,000 smartphones were financed in the first 6 months of the year alone, supported by a network of over 300 dealer partners, 29 branches, and more than 10,000 agents and 880 employees across Uganda.
It's about the customers who place their trust in Watu Simu. It's about the dealers who brought this product closer to communities. And it's about the partners who walked this journey with us and supported us on every step of the way.
Watu says more than 6,000 customers who first financed motorcycles have also gone on to acquire smartphones, using both assets to grow their businesses. Women now account for 42% of all Watu Simu customers, with half of all new customers joining the platform this year being female.
Future is also would not be possible without your commitment and daily support, because all together we reach this 1 million. I think the brighter future ahead of us. What should be done for that? I think day and night work, commitment, ability to listen to the clients, their feedback, what they want.
As Uganda accelerates its digital transformation, industry experts say expanding access to affordable smartphones will be critical in increasing financial inclusion and unlocking opportunities in the country's digital economy.
Still in business, as Uganda ages closer to its first commercial oil production, sector leaders are looking beyond crude export revenues to petroleum's potential to drive industrial transformation and economic diversification. Now, leading this vision are the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, the Uganda Investment Authority, and the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, which are positioning oil and gas not merely as a source of revenue, but as a catalyst for Uganda's next phase of industrial growth.
For decades, oil-producing nations have measured success by the number of barrels extracted and revenues earned, yet global experience shows that lasting prosperity comes not only from crude alone, but from building industries around it. From refining and petrochemicals to manufacturing and engineering services, countries that add value to their petroleum resources create more jobs, attract greater investment, and build more resilient economies.
And in many societies that have not used the oil for socio-economic transformation, a term was coined known as the oil curse. Uganda intends to make oil a great blessing.
Uganda now stands at the defining moment as the country prepares for the first commercial oil production expected to unlock billions of dollars in investment and revenue. Leaders urge that the true measure of success will not only be the volume of crude extracted from the Albertine Graben, but the value created within Uganda through industrialization, local enterprise, and downstream industries.
You notice that in the current production, we have literally imported everything. Will the next worlds also import 100%? Will we have acquired capacity in our population to do greater?
And so the significance goes beyond just talking about oil production, but sustaining this wealth that we have below the ground and sustaining it to even longer than its lifespan, because as rightly said, it's a finite resource.
The strategy centers on value addition, developing petrochemicals, fertilizers, plastics, lubricants, industrial gases, logistics, engineering services, fabrication, and other downstream industries that can multiply economic benefits of petroleum sector.
Value addition arising from refinery and specifically from petrochemical industries. This will support the plastic value addition, the fertilizer, the paints.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development says it continues to champion policies that integrate oil and gas into broader energy transition and industrialization agenda,
such that we can stand on a foundation saying oil fueled us, but we no longer depend on oil.
Responsible authorities are now mobilizing investors and ensuring that local content and value addition remain central pillars of the sector development.
In sport, the Uganda People's Defence Forces Engineers Brigade contracted to construct the King George Stadium in Masindi has assured the country that work is progressing on schedule, with the facility set to be handed over by November 30th, 2026. The shillings 20.2 billion stadium, which will serve as an AFCON training venue, is currently 25% complete, and engineers say they are working around the clock to ensure the project is delivered on time.
UPDF Engineers Brigade has reaffirmed its commitment to completing the King George Stadium in Masindi by the scheduled handover date of November 30th, 2026. The assurance was given during a site inspection by area members of parliament, led by Masindi Municipality MP and AFCON Local Organizing Committee member Rogers Vyamukama.
But they have increased manpower and shifts. They now have close to 170 workers on site, and they are working in 2 shifts, day and night.
The legislators commended the progress made so far, with the construction now at 25%, but urged the contractor to maintain the pace and deliver the project on schedule.
We appreciate the engineering brigade for the job that they are doing, and we think by the end of the project we'll have a very good project to have.
I want to request our UPDF engineering brigade to keep in mind the timelines, because if in 3 months they are 25%, they really need to up their efforts to make sure by the deadline day we are at 100%.
The MPs also welcomed the use of locally sourced construction materials and the employment of residents, saying the project is creating jobs and boosting household incomes.
You realize we have a good number of our young people who are working here. They are trying to get some jobs.
It is a legacy project, and we look forward to it changing the face of Masindi.
The Uganda shillings 20.2 billion project will provide Masindi with a modern stadium that will serve as a training venue during the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Byamukama said preparations for AFCON extend beyond the stadium, revealing that 3 hotels in Masindi and 7 in Hoima are upgrading their facilities to meet the tournament's accommodation requirements.
Masterpiece is already developing the other block. 5-star hotel of Honorable Balam also works are ongoing. Kabarega hasn't started, but will start.
He added that plans to construct the Satito Winyi Stadium, another AFCON training facility, are progressing, with the site expected to be handed over to a contractor soon.
And the plan is by end of August, the contractor to be on site at Hoima Satito ground.
In the Bunyoro sub-region, Hoima City Stadium has already been completed, together with its training facility, while construction continues at Boma Grounds in Hoima and King George Stadium in Masindi. Meanwhile, construction of the Satito Winyi Stadium along the Masindi-Hoima Highway is expected to begin once a contractor is appointed.
That brings us to the end of Live at 9 for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. I will be here tomorrow with Samson as we break down the issues in society and find solutions for them. Fixing Uganda tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Saturday Night Live. Brought to you by Result Great Refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club. Brewed longer for longer refreshment.
See, baby, baby, my love.
Reality people.
Nothing I want.